So, after some leg warm ups to try to free the imagination, here I am lying in my bed. Oh boy, it's cold out. And the purpose, the purpose of today's exercise is to tell the truth and to uncover maybe a new mode of being and seeing. So I'm going to take a few deep breaths. Oh, I think the yawn's a good indicator. You know, the yawn is really at the heart of good vocal resonance, to keep that in mind. But of course, what's important to keep in mind? Is there anything to keep in mind? You know, I've been wondering about the factors of improvement. Is there anything that you need except high quality, assiduous attention? I'm not sure. So I'm lying in the center of my futon with my legs parted, and I'm lying supine with the palms facing upward. And I'm going to take care to enunciate words. So now let's begin. I want you to let go of whatever assumptions you might have about where you are, or any conceits you may be taken in by about the nature of your purpose here. He said. He was holding a camera. I looked into the shiny beetle eye lens, and I felt like smiling. "This is good," he said. "You've been doing very well, and from here, I predict your life will be a good and fruitful one." And I flushed with pleasure at his words. They rolled over my skin like breakers. Isn't that funny, I thought, how roll could predict so many different manner of nouns. Breakers roll, so does a ball. Rolls are baked. They, Royce. We must have been in some kind of basement, and the dampness was on the walls. I reached a finger out. I'm reaching a finger out to taste the strange quality of the mold and maybe get ergot poisoning. My feet are bare. The soles of my feet are cold on the harsh flagstones. There seems to be a kitchen knife in one hand, my right hand. My fingernails are dull and yellow and horny. The room is completely sealed up. I take the kitchen knife experimentally and bang it against, and the chip comes off. Oh, I've lost the tip of the knife. And I drop it, and it embeds itself in my foot, point down. Feel it. Scrape tendons. I reach down and calmly pull it out. The blood wells from the top and the bottom of my foot. It runs into cracks and cobblestone. I'm watching the sun play on the bamboo from outside the yurt. It's late evening. And the dreams were upon me. And I was contemplating the length of the moment. How long is a moment? How long did it take me to pull the knife out of my foot? Maybe a heartbeat. And do heartbeats always feel like they consume the same amount of time? Does it always take the same amount of length to say do, at? The word at automatically suggests bay. But who was at bay? Dogs, of course. Hounds are at bay. So are ships, which are at bay. The ship's coils of rope and singing sailors, swearing sailors. A great bronze statue on the isthmus across the way, carrying a spear and looking over its left shoulder. It's wearing a big, frilly Roman-type helmet, and it seems to have been caught in mid-stride by 1,000 copper-working artisans. And there's seagull shit on its shoulders like snowy dandruff. I'm looking through a series of universes and realities, and peering in like a great benevolent giant. I see creatures that I can't communicate with except through violence or maybe nutritional enticement. And they are fascinating to me because they are so different. I see a queer hovering fly that seems to move as if in liquid. It doesn't dart so much as move submarine-like, gauzily, like it's hanging from strings. There lay the rider, distorted and pale, with the dew on his brow and the rust on his mail. Sir was beyond my ken, and the steaming bodies of horses and men. That lay in the mist with the rider at bay. To reject the word of the glorious day. To show the advance of the life he had lived. The life he had won, untrammeled and given. The maids and the trees and the vines he had kissed. And his breast and the blood from the gaping and riven hole in his armor he'd won from the list. So there lay the rider, distorted and pale, with the dew on his brow and the rust on his mail. And he could not speak. Tap-tapping crow beaks on armor like crab shells, and piles of corpses of peasants. And the thick, cooling liquid running down, and the armies of flies, and companionable wasps, and despicable, night-crawling, roaming beasts, which all came in great hosts, hosts of flies and locusts. And saddened grave robbers, home to feed their families at last, on the spoils of great deceased kings, lying in heaps, and emperors locked finally in tortuous embraces, and flies landing on their lips and laying eggs. I'm peering into the darkness, a darkness buzzing, humming pull of sheer curtains of light behind my eyes. I'm doing this in order to bring forth a vision. The vision is of swells of waves. Great swells of waves. I'm sitting in a barrel in the middle of the ocean. I'm usually alone in these encounters. Now I'm lying to you. The words are bringing forth imagery, but the imagery is mostly not responsible for the words. This is lying. Fiction. The truth is, what do I have in my hand? I have a glass. It's a clear glass of coffee, and I can see the little bubbles and the oily sheen. Hot, fresh espresso in the La Marzocca. I'm in the Oregon State cafeteria. Seems to be some sort of curly-headed they-them manning the counter. There's a couple of pink-haired baristas, less non-binary looking folk, and they're checking their phones and giggling at something. I can see their thumbs moving up and down. Well, they must be having a good time. Take my coffee and throw it in his face. It's a high-pitched girlish scream. He drops the shot of espresso that he's pulling. He writhes on the ground, kicking and screaming. I run out the door. It's cool outside. A storm's coming up, it's raining. There's a great behatted man in his cloak striding along. His leather rope and pools of beads on his shoulders. He opens his coat and I dive into his coat. It's warm and safe in the pocket and I tumble down to rest among roots. I'm clutching something important to my chest. It's a seed. The seed grows thick, pointed rhizomes that bury in my chest and fill with my blood, and the pressure of my heart allows the young plant to quest to the surface of the warm spring earth. I'm curled around the roots of the plant, and the roots of the plant are running into my eyeballs and through the caves of my nose and the tunnel of my throat. And they've embedded themselves in my soft tissues, but they are nourishing me at the same time. I feel warm dirt things like moles and centipedes, and the larvae of crickets further up toward the sun. They rustle and rummage through the damp earth around me, and around the rocks. Silkworms spin bright tunnels in the afternoon of a glorious peach tree. These were visions that I saw and more in the coat pocket of that great southern magician. A great steaming machine came down, violating and raping God's secret orchard. An eagle came and snatched the peach away, and I was the eagle. The eagle represented hope. The eagle carried the peach to a high cliffside and sat and heard the wind screaming and roaring. Thunder flashed, but I did not drop the peach. which I had between the prongs of my beak. The peach fell deep in the dark forest, in a clearing in the glade, where soft moss cut across the earth, and a smooth spring writhed little ribbonets of water into fair, clear existence that nobody knew about, except for me. And I was the peach, so I should know. The peach cracked open and split and produced green life. It was embedded in the moist earth, not far from the stream. The peach tree grew slowly. This time something was different. The black was dark on one side and light on the other, like a biological shadow. From the dark side grew figs. A grapevine made its friendly way around the base of the fig tree and the peach tree together, and twined around and grew great bunches of grapes in the fall. This all through slanting light beams through tall, frosty conifers, and it whistled and roared in the winter, and I was tucked safely inside the running sap of that peach tree in the roots. I could hear the water trickling under the ice. And in the spring, when I heard the icicles shatter and fall against the basalt tumble fall, I started to rejoice, for I knew that my year was at hand. Three kings came to me, and one said, "This peach tree shall carry the spirit of my family and I." The second said, "Whosoever eats the fig fruit of the second half of this tree, the dark half, his voice shall echo with 1,000 voices." And the third made his wish in secret, under the moonlight, and no one knows what his wish is, except the tree. There came into the wood the spirit of the fox, curled up with tail over nose at the base of the tree and took a nap. Well, the flies have got to me. They know where I am, and they've come to drink the oil off my bones. So, I've got to commit violence against them in order to lie here. And I refuse to do that. For now. So instead, I'm going to stop lying here, and if they keep landing on me and playing tricks, then I'll resort to bleach spray, which will be very unfortunate indeed for them, and not entirely pleasant for me.